Good evening. I'd like to call this meeting of this is the second meeting of April of Daviess County Fiscal Court to order. And Commissioner Conder, could you lead us in the opening prayer and the pledge?
Thank you, Judge. If everyone could, please pray with me or silent meditation, whichever your preference, please. Dear Lord, we gather here tonight to do your people's work. We especially ask that you bring peace to our world, to your people. Too many people suffer when men and people just simply want to war on each other. Bring them peace, please. To our community, Owensboro and Daviess County, bless us all. Bless this court. Judge Executive Charlie Caslin, Commissioner Janie Marksberry, Commissioner Chris Caslin, and myself. Touch our minds, touch our hearts, touch our souls that we do well, that we do your will, not only tonight, but each and every day. I ask this in your Son's name. Amen. Amen. And now the pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Commissioner. Brooke, first item.
1, consideration for presentation. A, Treasurer's Report for March of 2024.
Mr. Johnson.
Yes, Judge. As of March 31, 24, total cash balance is $73,044,380 for all funds, minus operating reserve and restricted funds. Cash for general fund operations is $28,626,312. All variances within the Treasurer's Report are normal, expected, explainable, and/or have proper approvals, and all departmental activity is within expected ranges to date. I have nothing else to report.
Thank you. Commissioners, any questions for Mr. Johnson?
No.
Next item, Brooke.
2, consideration for approval. A, minutes of the April 11th, 2024 Daviess County Fiscal Court meeting.
Motion to approve.
I'll second.
Got a motion and second. We've all had the minutes for a few days to review. And do I hear any corrections, deletions, or additions? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
B, minutes of the April 17th, 2024 Daviess County Fiscal Court special called meeting.
Motion to approve.
I'll second.
Got a motion and second. Again, we've had these a few days to review. Are there any corrections, deletions, or additions? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
C, all claims for all departments.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Got a motion and second. Are there any questions for Mr. Johnson? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
D, Resolution 07-2024, transportation of non-public school students.
Motion to approve.
I'll second.
Got a motion and second. Mr. Johnson?
Yes, Judge. The Daviess County Public School System invoices Daviess County Fiscal Court to provide bus transport for non-public school students in the county per KRS 158.115, which the state will then reimburse once all costs have been reconciled and billed accordingly. The total expense is budgeted at $300,000, as it has been for the last several years. This resolution is a required part of our application to the state to participate in the program to receive reimbursement for these expenses. It should be noted the court has participated in this program for over 20 years. I see no issues.
Thank you. Any questions for Mr. Johnson?
No.
Any questions from the public? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
E, Resolution 08-2024, designation of applicant's agent.
Motion to approve.
I'll second.
Got a motion and second. Mr. Johnson?
Each year, FEMA and KYEMA require that fiscal court name an applicant agent that will sign and submit applications for any grant funding from federal disaster assistance through FEMA and the Disaster Relief Act. I have completed the required training and served as the applicant agent for roughly 9 years and can continue to do so. It should be noted this is for applications for funding only Nothing I would sign would encumber the court in any way. All grant awards pursued by AMA would come to fiscal court for approval and review. I would recommend approval.
Any questions for Mr. Johnson? No. Any questions from the public? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
F, second reading of KOC A.104.02, 2024, 04-2024, Budget Amendment Number 2.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Mr. Johnson.
First reading was held in fiscal court session 4/11 of '24. The state approved as to form and classification on 4/17 of '24, and this will be the second reading and adoption. This is to amend the budget to reflect a FEMA hazard mitigation grant in the amount of $60,000 for the grad risk assessment add-on. I would recommend approval.
Any questions for Mr. Johnson?
No.
Any questions from the public? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
G, second reading of KOC 921.683, 2024, 03-2024, an ordinance amending a zoning classification set forth in the county zoning ordinance of February 5th of 2004.
Motion to approve?
I'll second.
Got a motion and a second. Mr. Burley?
Yes, sir. We read the first reading of this at our last fiscal court meeting, not the special meeting, but the one before that. And I'm going to read the whereas clauses. Whereas the Owensboro Metropolitan Planning Commission met in regular session in Owensboro, Kentucky on February 8, 2024 to consider an application filed by William Kegel Family LLC for a rezoning classification amendment from AU Urban Agricultural to B4 General Business for a 6.826 acre tract located at 1324 Worthington Road. And whereas, after hearing the evidence presented, the Owensboro Metropolitan Planning Commission made findings of fact and conclusions and recommended approval of the zoning classification amendment to B4 General Business. A copy of the transcript of those proceedings is attached to the ordinance. And whereas within the time allowed by law, 8 agreed parties each filed a request with the planning office for the fiscal court to consider the Owensboro Metropolitan Planning Commission recommendation. And whereas the official transcript of the proceedings at the meeting, including the evidence presented, the findings of fact and conclusions and recommendations of the Owensboro Metropolitan Planning Commission have been filed and considered by the Daviess County Fiscal Court. Now therefore be it ordained by the Fiscal Court of the County of Daviess as follows, and it accepts those findings of fact with the exception of 7 conditions that fiscal court has added. I don't think it substantially alters the first ordinance that we read 2 weeks ago. Judge, did you want me to read those? Or-
Well, I think the way this actually should work is that this would be just for the public, the way we've done these in the past, the way fiscal court has done it, the first reading is when we essentially review the record that planning and zoning presents to us. We had an opportunity to ask questions, and then the folks that were here that had spoken at the planning and zoning meeting were given an opportunity to speak. And so actually, these would have to be introduced as a motion. It's got to get a motion in a second. So commissioners, is there anyone that wishes to speak to this ordinance?
Yes, I would like to make the additional conditions to the actual ordinance.
Do they need to be read? John, you want to read them now then?
I don't mind reading them, that's fine.
I think they should be read into the
Yeah,
record.
I can go through it pretty quick. So these are the proposed conditions, which has been
And these
motioned.
these are the 4 new ones, is all I think you need to read. 'Cause
Okay, I
the
can
others
do
were
that.
read the
Yeah.
first time.
So the four new ones were, which they just made a motion and seconded are as follows. The applicant shall install and maintain lighting in a manner to ensure it will not adversely impact the adjoining neighborhood of Worthington Road traffic, the adjoining neighborhood or Worthington Road traffic as determined by the Daviess County Property Maintenance Code official or other county employee designated by the judge executive. 5, Applicant shall restrict the use of the subject property to uses primarily or principally permitted in a B4 general business zone with the exception of the following: motel or hotel, amusements that are indoor, amusements that are outdoor, recreational activities indoor, cocktail lounges, nightclubs, any assembly, business, and/or mercantile uses deemed to be adult entertainment establishments, pawn shops, convenience stores with or without fuel stations, big box home improvement retailer, vehicle racetracks, vehicle service fuel stations with or without convenience stores, car washes, self-serve or automatic, parking lots or structures, pet grooming, pet training, kennel, commercial kennel, vehicle body shop, cemetery, mausoleum, columbarium, crematory, public utility facilities not otherwise permitted, and bus terminals. Section 6, if a change in use is proposed different from the originally submitted traffic statement uses, an amended development plan must be submitted to the Planning Commission and County Engineer. And then lastly, 7, applicants shall include covenants and deeds or leases which require current and future property owners to properly maintain detention bases and ditches that are part of the rezoned property.
So, Commissioners, I'll start with you, Commissioner Casson. Do you have any comments you want to make about this? Is comments on the motion to amend.
Okay, yes, Judge, thank you. Just that, knowing that with the area, I feel like with these conditions, it helps us to compromise, make sure that the business is accepted as it should be, with the help of planning and zoning and what their investigations and findings from the original time was, but also for the neighbors in the area as well as some assurance that, like Mr. Kegel got up and said at the original planning and zoning meeting, that he was going to do the best of this that he could. And this is just to help, from my perspective, to help put that into writing for the neighbors as well.
Okay. Commissioner Marksberry.
I don't know if this is the proper time, but I would like to make a motion to strike number 5 out of the conditions that you've added. And if I could speak to that reasoning, please. We have planning and zoning for a reason. If we don't trust them to make the right call the first time around, maybe it's time for a change in the way things are run. The city and county should probably have different guidelines anyway. As far as conditions, I do not support putting up a bunch of trees because it only blocks the view of the drivers going around the curves, and the debris of the leaves falling into the creek is only going to clog it up more, which could affect the drainage. So I would not recommend any trees or shrubs being planted. As I have stated early on, my only concern is the drainage in that area, and that the county engineer could assure us it will be under control, so I have to take his recommendations on that. It is certainly within the landowner's rights to develop business on land that has been rezoned to commercial zoning, and to open it up to any business that would be allowed in that zoning. I don't believe fiscal court or planning and zoning should have the right to pick and choose out of a list of approved B4 zones what can go in there and what cannot based on the business model. So I will always vote for private property rights. Thank you.
John, you can help me out, but I don't believe it's appropriate when we have not even voted on the motion in second.
Either way, I think
Actually, it is. I guess it can be.
it probably can. I think you ask for a second. If there's no second,
So
it
I'll
fails.
just ask, is there a second on Commissioner Marksberry's motion?
If I can make a point of clarification, please, addressed to Commissioner Marksberry. Your motion is to strike only condition number 5, is that correct?
Yes.
All the other remaining 4, 6, and 7, you are not addressing any of that?
No, sir.
Okay, and I will second that actually, because I believe the same thing. I know that all of these conditions, I believe, are in agreement with the property owner. and which is great. That is a good thing to do. But for us to continue to prevent people or to tell them within the law that is stated what to do with their property is a little problematic. So I can second Commissioner Marksberry's motion if desired. Now you would vote on.
You're saying if desired, you either
I
are
will
or
second
not.
it. I will second that motion.
Thank you. So we have a second, motion and a second to strike the new condition number 5 from the Commissioner Castle's motion. I'll just say this, from my perspective, I certainly have a long history of supporting property rights. But I also understand the reason we have planning and zoning in our community is because it is as much to protect the rights of those who are already there as it is to make sure that things that develop don't wind up harming a neighbor. And for what it's worth, we do have a different set of rules for the city and the county. We have our tax amendments, they have theirs. And the reason that I wanted these first of all, I think planning and zoning got it wrong. I don't think this should have been even approved. So having said that, what I was trying to do when I had a discussion with the commissioners is to create an environment where, as we know, there are many businesses that are started and don't last very long. But once the property is rezoned, it is rezoned. And so just because a certain business does not succeed, what we have done is we have opened the door for many, many other businesses that are listed in the B4 zoning. And that is why, I support having the restrictions in there. I know this fiscal court, the prior fiscal courts have done this very thing before. We've actually, the prior fiscal courts that I've served on, we actually, it was in a Lake Forest neighborhood. We actually listed, we did the reverse rather than saying the way this is, this restricts what will go there. I think this says that these are items that cannot go there. But what prior fiscal courts have done is listed items that could go there if the uses were to change. Anyway, that's my commentary on it. Commissioner Casson, do you have anything to say on the motion to strike item 5?
No, Judge, nothing to add.
Commissioner Marksberry, you've already spoken your piece, and Commissioner Conder, you have as well. So I'm going to call for the vote. This is the motion to amend, and Brooke, I'd like you to do a roll call, so call everybody's name. Do it me first, and then alphabetical order, please.
Could you clarify?
Yeah, is this to amend
This
with it struck?
is to strike item 5 from Commissioner Casson's motion to add the 4 items. So, Brooke, if you'd call the names.
Judge Executive Caslin,
No to striking.
Commissioner Caslin,
No to strike.
Commissioner Conder. Yes. Commissioner Marksberry.
Yes.
So the motion fails, 2 yeses, 2 noes, so the motion to strike fails. So at this time, Commissioner Marksberry, you and I have already spoken, or you've already spoken to the first 4 there. Commissioner Conder, do you have anything to add on 4, 5, 6, and 7?
Now that the conditions are basically in agreement as to what needs to be done, and especially by the developer, then it seems to be appropriate to move forward with the affirmation of what OMPC has done. Thank you, Judge.
Thank you, and I have nothing more to say to it. Commissioner Casson, you went first, so. Brooke, if you'd call the roll, this is to amend the zoning ordinance and adding items 4, 5, 6, and 7, conditions 4, 5, 6, and 7. And again, if you do a roll call.
Judge Executive Caslin,
I'm a yes.
Commissioner Caslin,
Yes.
Commissioner Conder,
Yes.
Commissioner Marksberry.
Yes.
Okay, now we have a zoning ordinance that has been amended with items 4, 5, 6, and 7. I know three of us, do you want to speak to Commissioner Conder? You have anything to say to the whole zoning thing?
I do not.
Okay, Commissioner Casson,
No, sir.
Commissioner Marksberry.
Yes, I would just like to say I don't want to do anything to restrict private property rights again. By me voting yes for this, I'm still opposed to what it states in item 5, where it puts all these restrictions on there, but I don't want to stop this landowner or any landowner from doing what they have a right to do with their property, and that's why I went ahead and voted yes. Thank you.
Would you call a roll call?
Judge Executive Caslin,
Yes.
Commissioner Caslin,
Yes.
Commissioner Conder,
Yes.
Commissioner Marksberry.
Yes.
Motion carries. Congratulations, sir. Next item, Brooke.
H, release of surety, 6419 Ridge Brook Cove, sidewalks, public improvement surety.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Got a motion and second. Mr. Duper.
Yes, Judge. We received a release of surety request from the property owners. The property owners need to install a sidewalk on their property at 6419 Ridgebrook Cove. The engineering department has inspected, and the sidewalks meets the requirements. I recommend approval and release of surety.
Thank you. Any questions for Mr. Duper? Any questions from the public? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Next item, Brooke.
I, accept proposal of Ted Lawley and Associates, LLC, for engineering services at the Grimes Avenue Transfer Station.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Got a motion and second. Ms. Sturgeon.
Yes, Judge. This proposal in the amount of $18,700 will provide the court a structural design for additional personnel safety devices for the Grimes Avenue Transfer Station. This is an unbudgeted project, and the design fee is within acceptable range.
Thank you. Any questions for Ms. Sturgeon? Any questions from the public? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
J, award bid number 2324-61, bulk delivered fuel.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Got a motion and second. Ms. Sturgeon.
Yes, Judge, we received 2 bids and recommend award to the lowest and best evaluated bid submitted by Valor Oil for bulk fuel service for vehicles and equipment at various locations for Daviess County Fiscal Court. Valor Oil has held this bid previously with no issues. There were no exceptions to the specifications. I would recommend approval.
Thank you. Any questions for Ms. Sturgeon?
No.
Any questions from the public? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
K, award bid number 2324-62, tire repair and maintenance services.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Got a motion and second. Ms. Sturgeon.
Yes, Judge, we received 2 bids and recommend award to the lowest and best evaluated bid submitted by Best One Tire for inspections, scheduled maintenance, and repairs for all fifth wheel road tractor tires in the solid waste department. Best One has held this bid previously with no issues. There were no exceptions to the specifications, and I would recommend approval.
Thank you. Any questions for Ms. Sturgeon?
No.
Any questions from the public? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
L, award bid number 2324-63, recycling services.
Motion to approve.
I'll second.
Got a motion and second. Ms. Sturgeon.
We received 1 bid and recommend award to the only responsive bid submitted by Dahl & Grosinger for recycling of scrap metals and white goods on an as-needed basis. Dahl & Grosinger has held this bid previously with no issues. There were minor exceptions to the specification. I would recommend approval.
Thank you. Any questions for Ms. Sturgeon? Any questions from the public? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
M, award bid number 2324-64, Buildings 3 and 4 roof replacement at the jail.
Motion to approve.
I'll second.
Got a motion and a second. Ms. Surgeon.
Yes, Judge, we received one bid and recommend award to the only responsive bid submitted by Bruce's Tri-State Roofing for replacement of the roofs at Buildings 3 and 4 at the Daviess County Detention Center in the amount of $62,340. These roofs are in excess of 15 years old and have incurred some damage during storms over the last year. There were no exceptions to the specification. I would recommend approval.
Any questions for Ms. Sturgeon?
No.
Any questions from the public? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
N, award RFP number 05-2324, solid waste operations, waste transportation.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Ms. Sturgeon.
Of the 6 proposals received, we are recommending award to Ricky H. Moore Trucking in the amount of $42,000 per month and $13.50 per ton, as well as a schedule to cover variable fuel cost. This request for proposal is for solid waste operations at Henderson Transfer Station and transportation of solid waste to the West Davis County landfill. Fiscal Court entered into an agreement with the City of Henderson in 2015, and the county has subcontracted the operation of the transfer station floor and convenience center and the transportation of waste to the West Davis County landfill since. Fiscal Court has met its maximum renewals on the current service contract. You will note we are not recommending the lowest proposal, which is due to the recommended proposer's years of experience and familiarity with operations at the Henderson Transfer Station. Ricky H. Moore Trucking has held the contract for the operations of the Henderson County Transfer Station since its opening in the late 1900s, and both the City of Henderson and Davis County have been satisfied with their operations. We believe this justifies the estimated $12,000 annual differential in price. There were no exceptions to the specification. I would recommend approval.
Thank you. That was a lot. Commissioners, any questions for Ms. Sturgeon?
Could you read that again?
Sure.
Just kidding.
Any questions, any comments from the public? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
O, renew purchase agreement with Airmark Uniform Services.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Ms. Sturgeon.
This agreement will cover the bulk of uniform orders for county employees in public works and some portions of solid waste. All of our service contracts have a provision where if both parties agree, the contract can be renewed for additional contract term, up to a maximum of 4 renewals. This contract is available for renewal for July 1st, 2024 through June 30th of 2025. And after meeting with management from the respective departments, we are recommending renewal for the contract, given that the service has been rendered to our satisfaction, and rebidding the service would likely result in a price increase. I would recommend approval.
Thank you, Ms. Sturgeon. Any questions from the commissioners?
No.
Any questions from the public? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
P, accept renewal of city bid number 4230, bulk sodium chloride.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Ms. Sturgeon.
Yes, Judge, this is the renewal of a cooperative bid conducted by the City of Owensboro that includes county rates and volumes. Our bid rate is $93.13 per ton, which is up by 2.25% from last year's rate. The City of Owensboro has approved their rate increase, and County Engineer Brasher and Road Department Management believe Fiscal Court's increase to be reasonable and within our expected range. I would recommend approval.
Thank you. Any questions from the commissioners? No. Any questions from the public? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Q, appoint Tony Clark, Gail Niehaus served 1 term, to the PVA Assessment Appeals Board, 3-year term, effective May 4th of 2024 through May 3rd of 2027.
Motion to approve.
I'll second.
Excuse me, we got a motion and a second. Want to thank Mr. Clark for agreeing to serve in this capacity. This is, interestingly enough, this is a board that's kind of tough to find people to serve, because once you've served, I think you have to be off for a full term before you can serve again. And you can only serve one, I think it's only 1 term, and then you're off for a term. So anyway, we got to pay attention to who's not available. So anyway, I want to thank Mr. Clark for agreeing to serve. Any comments from the commissioners? Commissioner Conder.
Thank you, Judge. I did ask a question of PVA Rachel Foster. A simple question, how many cases actually come before PVA appeal and annually? Just to be curious. And she replied back 5 to 7. And I asked the question, well, what are they? And she goes, mainly residential. So you have several that of residents that throughout the year, whenever they do get their reassessments, they're actually residentials, and very, very few of them are commercial or industrial, is what they are.
Thank you. Any other comments? No. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
R, hire William Mullen as Building and Grounds Technician effective April 29th of 2024.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second?
Got a motion and a second. Want to thank Mr. Mullen for joining us. He'll be joining us on 429. And anyone else having? No. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
S, hire Duncan Kane as Service Technician effective May 6th of 2024.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Want to thank Mr. Kane for agreeing to join us, and hope he enjoys his time with us. Anyone else? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
T, hire Anna Crampy as Senior Staff Accountant effective June 4th of 2024.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Want to thank Ms. Crampy for agreeing to join us. Hope she enjoys her time here with us. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
U, promote Aaron Rafferty to Solid Waste Heavy Equipment Operator effective April 28th of 2024.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second?
Got a motion and a second. Want to thank Mr. Rafferty for agreeing to join us, and hope he enjoys his time with us. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
3, consideration for discussion. A, other business to be brought before the Daviess County Fiscal Court.
Do you have any?
There is none that I'm aware of.
Good.
B, public comments.
This is a part of our meeting where we invite people to come to the podium, state your name and address for the record, and speak to any item that was not being covered on the agenda. Have any takers? Yes, sir.
Good evening, Daviess County Fiscal Court and citizens of Daviess County. I wanted to give you guys.
If you would, your name and address for the record.
Sorry.
please.
Yeah, Darren Tapp. I represent the Daviess County Republicans. I'm from Philpott, Kentucky.
Okay.
And wanted to give you guys an update on what happened last Saturday at the 2nd District Convention for the Republican Party. I've been told by people that have been going there for decades, including several people from the Tea Party movement, that it was an absolutely historical event. It is the first time in history of the RPK that the citizens outnumbered the establishment and elected officials at this event. And we were very successful in getting rules changed and getting citizen delegates appointed into powers of authority throughout the 2nd District. It was something to behold. The number was in the range of 2 to 1 on the floor votes. For instance, we had some of you were here at the mass meeting that we had here, okay? Well, we all send, every county within the district sends a slate of delegates to vote on matters that are of interest to the party and to their counties and citizens. So, for instance, in the nominating committee for people that we would send to the RNC, there was an establishment slate with like Rand Paul and several other elected officials on it. And then there was a slate with citizens, only exception being our sheriff, Brad Youngman, who we purposely put in there. So that, in committee, we were outnumbered 11-8, okay? So they put forward their establishment slate, and it would go out on the floor and get voted down by the people. This went on, we should have been out of there about 11 o'clock. This went on till about 2:30 in the afternoon, and they finally conceded and allowed the citizens to send their own delegates to the RNC, which was just monumental. Also, in closing out the meeting, you were here, Judge, when we presented our Return to Excellence resolution in elections. And we tried to get it on the agenda for the district. Well, the establishment refused to put it on the agenda. But in the rules, we got some Patriot Mama Bears that did their homework. We could actually present that during announcements, okay? So that's exactly what we did. And it was put to a floor vote. That resolution passed. There was only one nay out of 124 delegates. Only one person, and that was the head of the establishment in the nominating committee that was extremely upset that he didn't get to put his slate through to the RNC. This is something that I implore we've done internal polling. It's somewhere in the neighborhood of 99% of Republican citizens in Daviess County want transparency and citizens' oversight in their elections, okay? So what we're asking of the court is to form an exploratory committee to see what we can do within the laws of Kentucky and the Constitution of Kentucky to satisfy the people that understand there's something wrong. We don't get votes flipped from Daniel Cameron to Bashir, and there is an active investigation at the state level right now because this happened in our last election. ES&S, the voting machine manufacturer, blames it on a coding error. You do not have coding errors with paper ballots and hand counts, okay? So that's the direction the 168 delegates at the RNC voted unanimously on. That's the direction 123 out of 124 delegates at the 2nd District voted on almost unanimously. And that's the direction we strongly implore the Daviess County Fiscal Court to look into and see how we can do this. There has to be a path forward that will satisfy the citizens and satisfy the laws and Constitution of Kentucky. In closing, one last thing. We're only 5 weeks away from the Nikki Hayden Memorial race out at Windy Hollow. It's June the 1st. And in the future, I'm not asking you to this year, because it's going to be out there going forward, we would like to get the county involved in it. Of course, Nikki is not only a hero here, he's a hero around the world. And the money goes to his charity, which also gets filtered back here to Owensboro, Kentucky, and spent here on Nikki's charities. And he helps disadvantaged, battered women and provides them housing and things of that nature.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Okay, that's all I've got. Thanks.
Is there anyone else wishes to speak?
Hello, Kathy Estes, 4104 Buckland Square. I just wanted to comment on the county's budget. I spoke with the county attorney this week, not the county attorney, the county treasurer, regarding accessibility issues here at the courthouse. And there's $4.5 million planned for renovations and I ask you to please consider curb cuts, electronic doors, and possibly the grade of the ramp outside. Right now, there's only funds marked for renovation of the second floor restroom to make it ADA compliant, but I'd ask you to please look at that one more time and see if you can do better in that area. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? No takers. Commissioner Marksberry. I'm sorry, Brooke.
C, comments by Davis County Fiscal Court.
Commissioner Marksberry.
Okay. Well, I just want to speak about the senior center. I was unable to attend the groundbreaking due to another appointment. But I have had several messages from some seniors that were a little bit disappointed with the location once it was announced. They've reached out to me, and just because it's only about a half mile from where they are now, they were hoping for a new location, not the same general area. And, you know, they did a survey, and they had stated that in their survey, and I just don't understand why they did a survey and they didn't listen to the results of the users of the facility. I feel like it was all for show. They clearly voted they did not want to stay in that location, and they wanted it more centrally located, and they got neither of those things. Is the city doing a land grab by annexing this county property into the city? That would be one of my questions, why they chose that location. And I just hope they're not doing that on the backs of our seniors. Also, there is absolutely, in my opinion, no earthly reason why it would take up to 2 years to build this new center, which is what they have stated. My fear is they will have our money pledged and tie it up and then never build it. And the fiscal court has pledged up to $2 million for this project. And so I would like to propose the fiscal court put a timeline on the development of this project, of this property. They should begin infrastructure within 6 months. If not, then I think we should withdraw our proposed $2 million and use it for a project that might actually get done. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Caslen.
I don't have any comments tonight, Judge. Thanks.
Commissioner Conder.
2 quick items, please, Judge. Number one, the event held this past weekend, Touch a Truck, knocked it out of the park. It was everyone that I saw there. All of our first responders, the ambulance, the hovercraft, the helicopter, everyone I've talked to just absolutely had a great time. I mean, it was absolutely awesome. The only suggestion I think I've heard is that maybe we could have some of the farming implements out there, which might be a little difficult because of the time of year and putting, food in the ground to be able to grow. But otherwise, it was done extremely well. I mean, Jordan Rowe, you knocked that one out. Staff out there did a great job. And the second, this week, I think that the firefighters, there are 10 that have gone to Olomouc, Czech Republic. I think I said that correctly. I'm not for sure if I did. I think I did. And they're on an exchange program with the sister cities. They have them from OFD, Davis County Fire Department, the Airport Sargo Fire Department, and they will be spending about a week there, learning back and forth of their techniques and what they do there, plus probably absorbing some of the local libations, I'm guessing, but don't know that for sure. So hopefully they have safe travels and come back home to protect the rest of us. Thank you, Judge.
Amen to your last point. I failed to do this during claims, but I'm going to do it now. I just want to read in our claims, we had $5,400 that was paid at a rate of $600 to the following nonprofits who, in exchange for the $600, they raise their own teams to go out, and I'm not sure how much they have to. David, do you know how far they have to travel? How much, like a mile, 2 miles? 6 miles. So it's $100 a mile. Anyway, A.G. Hodges Masonic Lodge, Brushy Fork Baptist Church, Christ Gospel Church of Owensboro, Daviess County Audubon Society, Greater Owensboro Young Life, Green Valley Beekeepers Association, Knights of Columbus Council 16125, Life Community Church, and Pleasant Ridge Baptist Church. I want to thank all of those for their efforts to keep our community clean. I may have, excuse me. So I reached out to Kyle Auld with the, there were a whole slew of folks that helped on the Isaac Sterrett Adventure Foundation and go out and pick up trash. They call it Operation Community Cleanup. They did it this past Saturday. It says it was a huge success. Nearly 40 teams showed up to clean up our community. Over 240 people picked up enough trash to fill 360 blue 45-gallon trash bags, not including the 107 items that were collected that could not fit in a bag. And I just want to thank all the community. I went out and did it again. I did it last year as well. And appreciate all those who took the time. We started about about 8 o'clock, and we're supposed to return by 6. I think they filled up 5 of those big, like, roll-off things, which is, it's pretty amazing. But then if you think what we all picked up was just trash that other people had thrown out, that's pretty sad. Anyway, so it's good we got folks that are helping clean up. Sad that we got people that don't care enough to not litter. Anyway, I do want to speak to the Touch a Truck as well. Talked to Jordan about it, told him that I thought it was a huge success. Was able to go out with my 3 grandchildren, and one of them's really too young to enjoy or be excited about it. It's only about 4 weeks old. And but the others certainly enjoyed it, and looking forward to next year. And Commissioner Conder, to your comment about the ag part, I told Jordan, I said, we might just make the ag be its own thing and do it at a time of year when the farmers can participate, because obviously if they're on the cusp of getting out in the fields, they don't want to. They don't want to be there, and certainly if they're in the field, they're not going to come. So anyway.
It was a great event. Did you happen to get invited to ride in the hovercraft?
I did not.
I did, and I was like, oh, no, that's not going to happen. That would be really dangerous if I got in there, so anyway.
No, but I was asked if I wanted to scale the side of the I told them I've done that once before they tore it. I don't know if I was a city commissioner or early on as a county commissioner. I went down. I didn't go up from the place there at 14th and J.R. Miller where they're redoing it now. Right. And but I did have that opportunity to do that. It was a lesson in trust to know somebody else was keeping me from going down too fast. I don't have anything else before I gavel us out. All right. Without further business, this meeting is adjourned.